Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at another Des Moines replay. In this replay, I will show you how to play the Des Moines in sometimes the worst situations on maps that don't have very good island cover, and a lot of times there's a lot of open space between caps, and a lot of times there's also a lot of distance between you and your enemies, and I'm gonna kind of walk you through how to do that and how to handle it. Of course, Mountain Range is not one of my favorite maps by any means, but it also does have some decent islands, but also it has some longer range combat that you have to adapt to in a Des Moines. So, the first thing you would want to do is, if you are fortunate enough to spawn on the eastern half, either on the north or south spawn, you would want to go to C no matter what. Even if you are on A, you spawn on the west side towards A, again either north or south side, you definitely want to go and head towards B if you spawn over there. If you do spawn on that south side, then you should probably be going to the island just north of, or just south of B at, looks like G. Oh, where that Des Moines popped up. That is a very good spot. You can counter B pretty well there. If you are on the north side, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to push a little bit closer into B and you get a little bit more crossfire. But that island at E56 is also a pretty good island too. But anyway, we're going to move on to the gameplay here. So there's a carrier on both teams, obviously. The enemy team has a Graf Zeppelin, which, okay, there's been some controversy with that, but overall it's pretty even matchmaking, I would say. Of course, I'm with some of my clanmates, Static, I think the Warmonger, and then Death Toll 1. So some pretty good players on my team as well, but I did look on some of the stats of the enemy team, and there is another APOC guy on the enemy team, as well as some of the other battleships were pretty good, as well as I believe their Kutuzov. So still good matchmaking all around. Nothing that it's not going to be a landslide in the slightest. So as soon as I realized that these are the two cruisers that are only coming over here, I decided to push up into the cap, and I don't see any battleship support, nor do I see any destroyer support, so I just push right into the cap and help my Edinburgh buddy cap this. Prince Eugen, at this range, he's going to start melting. I don't get a Citadel there, but 4 penetrations and 7k later, and I'm enjoying that. Second salvo out, not as good. But the third salvo, he's going to be turning a little bit more, and I'm going to add a Citadel to my list, and 8,800 damage. He's already at half health. However, 5 overpens was not what I was looking for in that last salvo. Was hoping for more of a Citadel, but I think I aimed a little bit too high. At this point, you see how I position myself. There's no way, even if I am spotted, that the enemy battleships can shoot at me. I am providing cover for my right side, and the island in front of me is also kind of preventing the two guys in front of me from doing a lot of damage to me. So that's another way you would want to play the Des Moines. And I completely forgot something: my Captain Perks and upgrade skills. So Captain Perks wise, we're looking at Priority Target, then Expert Marksman, Superintendent, Concealment Expert, AFT, Demolition Expert, and Adrenaline Rush. Pretty standard cruiser build, I would say, in 0610. In terms of upgrades, I am looking at Main Armors Mod 1, then I have AA Range, then Reload. I know a lot of people don't really like the Reload all that much, and let's see if I can't get some Citadels here on this Prince Eugen. Probably not. Reload, I know a lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is, and I'll show you why here. Then special upgrade for the radar consumable, and finally rudder shift and concealment because I value those two things quite highly. So at this point, you might be seeing myself again pushing up to an island that is useful to me. I keep the island to my left, you know, between me and this Des Moines that is currently doing some kiting, and I'm also keeping myself bow on to the ships that could potentially shoot me at B if they decided to. Now, again, the reason you go with concealment is in situations like this where you can pop out pretty safely and are able to reposition, because right now I'm at max range and I'm not going to be hitting a lot of people with these bigger islands, so I'm going to have to move into, I guess you could say, more open waters. So again, the reason why I like the Des Moines reload so much is because when you get within 10, 11 kilometers, your reload is just too much for the enemy to handle. As you can see there by the Kagero, fun and engaging game mechanics will get him killed every single time. But even if that didn't happen, I'm a Des Moines at 10, 11 kilometers shooting HE every 4.5, I think, or maybe it's 4.8 seconds with adrenaline rush kicking in. It goes down very, very quickly. And again, you can see, as you should know, the power of the AP right there on broadside targets, even if they are 15 kilometers away at max range. Again, these are 203 millimeter guns. They are going to do damage all the time. And since they're American, they get special normalization values, which allow them to get penetration values. You can hit citadels of enemy cruisers, depending on the range, but usually around like 22.5 degrees. You can start hitting those citadels. Spamming HE is something you're good at in Des Moines, and again, there's no reason for me to be any farther away. If I'm any farther away, I'm not going to be my percentage of shots hit is going to go down very significantly and very sharply as soon as you hit 15, 16 kilometers. So, and again, this is something you actually really wouldn't want to be doing in a Des Moines, and that is going in open waters, and I'm currently okay here. However, sooner or later, I'm going to have to kind of start kiting, because there is actually quite a bit of people looking at me, and this Tirpitz has seen better days for sure. So I'm just gonna stay bow in and try and angle to as many planes, to as many people as possible, and hope for the best. Here, I think this is one of my only mistakes that I've made. I think I should have been angled a lot more to this Friedrich, maybe about 10 to 15 more degrees. Because that might not have been a citadel had I been a little bit more angled. The other benefit to having reload instead of range mod is you are detected at you're not detected as far as you would be with range mod. With range mod, every time you shoot, you're getting detected at 18, I think, 0.2 kilometers, whereas if you're running reload, then you're going to get detected at a maximum of 15.8. So you can it doesn't necessarily help your stealth, but it does help you to get out of certain situations where there might be some DD that's spotting you somewhere between that 15.8 to 16, between 15.8 and 18 kilometers. So in that case, it is beneficial to be running reload. But again, the main reason you run reload is to increase your DPS, and with the Des Moines, it is just absurd how much damage you can output. And again, at ranges like this whole match I've been fighting at ranges sub 15.8, and I've just been doing perfectly fine. Almost all my targets have been within my range, and if they're not, then I can maneuver so that they are in my range. But see, the another thing that I like to comment on is that at 15 at 15 kilometers, 14 kilometers, 13 kilometers, I'm still able to dodge a lot of battleship shells and also a lot of cruiser shells for the most part. So much so that I reduce most of my damage almost completely. Go undetected here and pop my heal. Decide it's a good time to start healing up. My team is going to be, we're kind of all squished together, so I'm going to need as much health as possible because sooner or later the enemy team is going to be pushing into Objective Bravo. So my game plan here is, seeing that they are posted up right outside of B, I have to get close enough so that I can be effective to my team, but I have to stay far enough away so that I am not risking death, obviously. And that is, again, one of the trade-offs. With the range, you are playing a lot more passively, and you are sitting a lot farther back, which is, again, good in some scenarios, but if you really want to unlock the full potential and get that extra 5 to 10k extra damage per game, then you really should be running reload. As soon as I switched to reload, I instantly saw an increase of my average DPS from about 70, 80k in the Des Moines to a staggering, like, I think it's now almost 93, 95,000 average damage, and this is already with I believe like over 100, 200 games in the Des Moines, which at that point you're really kind of set in stone in terms of your average damage, your win rate. Of course, those things can change a little bit. Ooh, voice crack. A little bit, but for the most part, they are pretty solid. And oh boy, I have a feeling that's going to become a meme or something. ElasticSpyder's voice crack. He hasn't reached puberty yet. Oh boy, ha ha ha. Anyway, Graf Zeppelin sending in planes. It's not worth his time. It's not worth my time. I'm just gonna melt these a little bit faster to get myself not spotted. Just kidding. I'm gonna shoot HE at the CV just to get rid of his spotting capabilities. Of course, this is good. Good plane farming as well, increasing that. Currently, the enemy team looks like they've got. They're gonna get Bravo. I'm gonna try and help my Hindenburg buddy, Death Toll, in the Hindenburg to try and tank some of these North Carolinas and Des Moines. Static, however, it looks like he got HE spammed to death and was not able to make it through the battle. So I'm gonna turn around now. Again, I feel that I'm safe enough. Des Moines not looking at me. North Carolina's focused on other targets, so I can make my turn. This Des Moines with the reload is very picky on when you make your turns. You have to be very precise and very quick about how you make your turns, and you have to be very smooth about it as well. Again, with the reload, you are risking a lot more in terms of your ship and your potential to actually be shot and killed a lot more. But you know, when you look at it, the way that I look at it is, if you know how to play your ship, you know how to position your ship well enough, then you can obviously just wreck house very, very easily. Get a couple citadels on that Des Moines. Wasn't able to kill him there. Misjudged his his last maneuver there. Hindenburg does enough just to torp the North Carolina and kill him. I'm going to stop here and slow down. Again, my positioning is near perfect. I am keeping this island to my left in between me and that other Des Moines, and I am perfectly bound onto this Des Moines, so the only thing he can really do is set me on fire, in which case that's repairable, and I can actually, damage con that. The only other ship that was within range and it was potentially a threat was that North Cal, but he died quite quickly as well. He was to my, I would say, northwest, but even then I was still angled on at about 25, 30 degrees, so there's no real chance of him doing significant damage, and if he does do significant damage, I am going to be a-okay in terms of damage that I can heal. So again, perfect positioning there, helped me out to kill the Des Moines, stay angled, and reduce any damage that I could have and possibly taken while still being alive and killing enemy ships like this Graf Zeppelin that will get stolen from me from my Amagi buddy. Now you guys might be thinking, oh, okay, well, you're screwed here. You know, you can't do anything. You're rushing a Des Moines who's got range mod, and you're on half HP. But I'll show you guys. This is why you run the Des Moines reload with Adrenaline Rush. I'm popping shells out every 4.1 seconds. He cannot keep up with me. He's gonna have a 5.5 second reload, and with the Adrenaline Rush perk, he might be able to get down to like 5, maybe 4.9 if he's really low. But at this point, I'm getting shells off very, very quickly. He's cutting away, and every time he wants to expose more of his firepower, he has to go broadside, which I could potentially be able to citadel him and do massive damage. Again, in theory, this should be working out a lot better for 901, but it is not. I think the main reason, and I do believe 901 is a very competent player. He's actually got higher average damage than me in the Des Moines, and a better win rate currently in the Des Moines. So he's not a bad player, but it just goes to show that how much of a difference this makes. You guys might also say, oh, well, you've got enemies, your friendlies shooting at him as well, that sort of thing. But I'll show you with the post-battle results, that's not really the case after all. Alright guys, so looking at the screenshots here, after I killed the Des Moines, looking at 600,000 credits, 7,000 XP earned, devastating strike, Confederate, Dreadnought, and high caliber, 222,000 damage dealt during this battle, 262 shell hits, 22 planes shot down, 4 ships killed, almost a Kraken. I wish I could have gotten that Graf Zeppelin. Would have been a nice 10 flags or 5 flags, whatever it is. 12 fires, 4 citadels, and 2 assisted base captures. Looking at the team score, wow, that's a lot. 3258 in terms of base score. Again, 4 kills, 22 planes shot down. Topped my team by a very good margin. In terms of how my teammates did, they were about middle of the pack. Conqueror died a little bit early. Hindenburg had to do some tanking against North Cal, all of which was very admirable. 901 on the other team, he topped his team, 10 planes, 3 ships killed. Very good base XP again. 1805 on the losing team. If he was on the winning team, he would have been very, very high in terms of the XP. Now, this is what I want to talk about. Detailed report. I was very close to it with her as well. Armor piercing did a lot of my damage, 90, almost 100k there, and then high explosive, another 70k there. But again, I want to point something out. In that case, that Des Moines that was fighting at the end, 901, again, very competent player in the Des Moines. But I was able to knock off 42,000 hit points off him. And again, he probably only had time to pop 1 heal, so maybe he gets about 10k hit points back at the maximum. You see there that I popped a lot of my heals, and I only gained about 16,000. So I'd probably say about 8,000 he was able to heal back at the maximum. So I did most 75% of the damage to him, and I still had I believe about 10k HP left for me to continue shooting him. In that case, if he was running the reload mod, he might have been able to do a little bit more. Again, kiting is a factor here. He can only, most of the time, only shoot one of his guns. But again, if he had reload, it shouldn't have mattered. He should have won. And again, most of the time, the kiting ship is the ship that has the advantage. But in this case, the Des Moines with reload, it kind of mitigates that quite a bit. Anyways, credits and let's go detailed report. 1.3 million damage fired my way. Pretty good for a tier 10 cruiser, I would say. And then credits, 300,000 take home, not too bad. 9,000, nearly 10,000 elite commander XP. I always need that for my captains. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this replay. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike and tell us why down in the comment section, and what other ships you would like us to kind of review or do a commentary on. Anyways, if you have a community replay, send it to BIAworldofwarships. We're getting a lot of them, and I do enjoy watching them. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time.